Lord be with. All right, we want to welcome everybody today to Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad. And today we got Hantie back. Hantie! Yay! Welcome back. You know, normally we have a joyous occasion. We have some great talks, and we always have a great talk. But today we can't avoid talking about this painful subject. And this is always painful for me, and for a lot of parents or anybody out there. And especially when it's in your own backyard. You know, when it's in Michigan and stuff like this happens, it disturbs me.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing that happened in Oxford, Michigan, where this young man, 15-year-old young man, goes out and kills 4 of his students because
schoolmates.
Because he has a bad day. Because his life is not good. So let me take other people's lives. And I just want to read a little bit of this for you people today, so you can understand a little bit of why this is so disturbing here. You know, as classes resume, this is a timeline, and these were the red flags. You know, there's no such thing as, in my opinion, there's no such thing as you did not know someone was disturbed. You know someone's disturbed. It's the inaction of those in authority that do nothing that's the disturbing part about this. And I'll read what I'm saying here. As classes resumed after a long Thanksgiving holiday, a teacher noticed Ethan Crumbly searching for the web for ammunition. A teacher. McDonald said the teacher notified school officials who contacted the parents via phone and email, but they did not respond. Later on Monday, Jennifer Crumbly sent a text message to him saying, LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught, McDonald said. In 2 videos on Crumbly's phone that were recorded that night, he talked about shooting and killing students at the high school. Lieutenant Tim Willis of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Another piece of evidence is a journal found in Crumbly's backpack that details his desire to shoot up the school to include murdering students. On Tuesday morning, this is what is disturbing, another teacher found drawing on the accused shooter's desk that essentially depicted a shooting. It alarmed her to the point that she took a picture of it on her cell phone, the prosecutor said. The illustration showed a semi-automatic handgun pointing at the words, "The thoughts won't stop, help me." And it included a drawing of a bullet with the words, "Blood everywhere," written above it, she said. The words, "My life is useless, the world is dead," were also written on the drawing. Between the drawing of the gun and the bullet is a drawing of a person who appears to have been shot twice and bleeding. Below that figure is a drawing of a laughing emoji. The distressing picture led school officials to hold a meeting with the accused shooter and his parents and were instructed to help provide counseling for their son within 48 hours. During that meeting, Ethan Crumbly had the gun in his backpack, which was not searched. Hello. He had a backpack which was not searched. Failure and another failure. The parents resisted the idea of taking their son out of school, McDonald said, and he was allowed to return to the classroom. Now listen, folks, that morning at that drawing, it's impossible not to conclude that there was no reason to believe that he was going to hurt somebody. Right. Come on now.
That's right.
Yeah. From that meeting, they felt that there was no reason that this young man was going to hurt somebody. Drawing pictures, talking about he needs help.
Warnings.
You know, it's right. To me, I'm like saying to myself, you know, we'll talk about that a little bit later. The district superintendent said Thursday that no discipline was needed against Crumbly after that meeting.
Oh, no.
He was, as you know, called up to the office and all that kind of stuff, Tim Throne said in the video statement. No discipline was warranted, and there was no discipline records at the high school. Now, you have 2 teachers saying something's wrong with this kid and they need help, and the teacher's not listened to. This is a failure of leadership. I'm sorry. Let me get back to the subject here, everyone. After Ethan Crumbly was allowed to return to class, surveillance video from the school's camera shows what happened next. At 12:51 p.m., Crumbly could be seen with a backpack. Then a minute or 2 later, he exited the bathroom without a backpack, but with a gun in hand.
Oh.
I can't go forward because it brings tears to my eyes because one of the kids died in a police officer's car as he was taking that child to the hospital.
Mhm.
And folk, you know, we live in an age where a black man, all he has to be killed for that's unarmed is just looking like he's threatening.
Mhm.
And then I'm supposed to be okay with that.
Mhm.
We have a person here where teachers, people in authority, went to people in charge to say, this child needs to be out of here. There's something wrong here. Teachers, trained professionals. You know, when a teacher takes a picture of something and sends it to the principal's office, something's wrong here. And two teachers did it. They did their job. But after the meeting, I mean, come on, folk. Let me just stop here. Let me hear from you all here, because the more I read it, the angrier I got, because not only do you have bad parenting, you have bad leadership, you have bad. I mean, where are the cops at this point? They should have taken over because of the incompetence of the school officials. But what are your thoughts on it, Mom? I'm sorry, I need to be quiet here because I'm getting myself worked up. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that life is not, to a lot of people, life is not worth anything to anybody, to them. And when you take someone else's life, it's a sad, to me. I don't really know what, I don't know how to express myself, but I feel bad because the system in this country does not take care of gun control. They don't take it up on themselves. Let's get these guns out of the hands of those who don't need them. Only law officers, and then I question them sometimes that they should even have guns. But my take on this right now is that there needs to be more prayer in the home for our children.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have prayer with them every day, we can ask for protection that they not come up with these bad ideas. So my take on it, let's keep prayer in the home and let's put it in the schools also.
Okay. Thank you. Dad?
You know, I think as a retired school teacher that the teachers did their job.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers reported to the principal and the superintendent what was going on with this child. He needed professional help. He was sick.
Mm-hmm.
My blame goes on to the principal and the superintendent
Mm-hmm.
who allowed this young man back in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And no disciplinary thing was done. There was no disciplinary procedure done to help him because he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
He was a sick young man, and that's when. And then to let this young man go to the restroom with his backpack, with a gun in the backpack, and come out with the gun and shoot this.
They should arrest those that allowed that.
They should sue the school system
Mm-hmm.
to let the whole world know that the administrators need to be more responsible. The administrators need to be held accountable for their decisions and their actions, and not to cover up and let the impression that this school is a safe school, when clearly it was a dangerous school. It was a school on fire that needed help. And I cannot fault the teachers. They did their job.
Yeah.
But from then on up, that's where the ball was dropped with the principal and the superintendent.
Hantie, thank you, Dad. What is your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are, it's hard to sift my thoughts right now because I have been putting myself in the parents' places.
Ooh, yeah.
And that took a lot of I just don't have words. I guess I've got to bring myself out of that and say that there is a lot of sickness walking around in this world, and we're our eyes are closed to it.
Mm-hmm.
As a parent, I cannot imagine. I can't imagine. I just don't know. I don't know how to separate my sympathies with this subject.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good subject for. I guess I should do it like this: young parents,
Mm-hmm.
parents that are young, parents with TVs in their living room, that is entertainment for their young ones. Be very vigilant. Be not very, but be vigilant about what your child watches,
Mm-hmm.
because truly, the young man, what's his name?
Ethan, I think it's sorry about that. Crumbly. I know his last name was Crumbly.
Right.
Ethan Crumbly. Ethan Crumbly.
Ethan. Ethan. Ethan grew up with something, liking something that was not good for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's like wanting a disease
Mm-hmm.
and growing up with it, and it's cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
As parents, we are feeding our kids things that aren't good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so at a young age, I guess that's what I guess I had to talk myself through it. Do not give your kids feed your kid. Do not feed your kids things that are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And as parents, we have to know good from bad.
And you know, Hantie, you know, you all got hit the same way I got hit the more I read this. I had to stop reading it because the more I read, the angrier I got with this. You know, when I grew up, just to let everybody know, I couldn't even point and play like I'm play gun at somebody, like I'm going to kill them. That was a no-no in my house. Talking about killing someone was a no-no. You don't talk that way. We don't do that here. That's not expressing yourself talking about killing someone. Let's just talk a little bit of parenting 101 here, folks. That's not healthy. You know, why do you want to kill someone is the real question. First of all, we don't talk that way, but what makes you think that? Because you don't see us wanting to kill people. And is that term used loosely in the house? So I want to kill someone. I mean, think about it. You know, the parents, that's why the parents were prosecuted, because there was enough evidence there where the parents were encouraging this behavior because the son was disturbed and he was crying out for help. You know what I'm saying? And the thing I think about this is, if bullying is a big problem, if I'm a bully at school, I'm going to be dealt with faster than if I want to kill people at school.
You're right.
And to me, I'm saying that are we that dumb, people? That's the same thing as bullying when you threaten somebody. Hello.
And my question is, why would you give your son, a 15-year-old young man, is that correct?
Yes.
An automatic pistol as a Christmas present?
And it's not even Christmas.
It ain't Christmas.
Yeah, it's not even Christmas. I mean, it's illegal to do it, first of all. He's too young to carry a gun.
In the state of Michigan, it's illegal to have a semi-automatic with a person under the age of 18, just to let everybody know.
That's right. It's illegal. So why would the parents want their son to carry such a weapon?
I'm going to add another direction to this.
Mm-hmm.
When they took prayer out of the schools, was that up to the Supreme Court to determine that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's up to.
Let's look at who our heads are making the decisions for our country to go into. All right. So when they decide they're going to take prayer out of the schools, what happens? What has happened since then?
Mm-hmm.
When you don't pray, start your day in prayer, every teacher in their own room. I believe that prayer helps to solidify our faith, and it keeps us from going to an extreme to want to kill somebody. Now, I'm going to bring it on a little closer. Is the Supreme Court now going to allow for anybody who wants to take a life because they got pregnant, because they don't want the pregnancy? Is this what we're going to be faced with? They make the decisions that it's all right to take a life when you don't,
Well, see, just to help everybody else, we have a judicial system.
Yes.
Not a right system. There's a difference between the two, right? Whatever the laws of the land are interpreted or used for, you have to abide by that based upon who at the top is interpreting them.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, what it is they don't legislate per se morality, they legislate law. And when they legislate law according to the Constitution, right? And that's where the rub usually lies, because if you have a person who's atheist and I'm praying in a classroom, they're going to feel that their rights are being, thrust upon. That's why the Supreme Court ruled that way. Not saying that they agree with it. It's just saying that's the judicial system. That's just how it works. That's why we get upset. Like when you look at the Rittenhouse situation, you have one part of people saying he was protecting himself. You had another part of the people saying, dude, it was a skateboard. What would it have done to you? Was it really worth killing someone over swinging a skateboard at you? And when you look at that, the laws of the land stated, well, any threatening behavior that's used to you can use a force against it if you feel threatened. That's why he walked away from it. Now, the reality is here in this particular situation, and let's get back to the subject here, is this was a letdown of bad parenting. This was a letdown of administration. The law was waiting. The law was waiting for the school to enact before they stepped in. And so, like I said, if this kid were of different color, would he even lived to even go to jail? That's another question. Yeah, Hantie.
And it just came to me what I should say. I know I apologize for my blundering before, but there were several warnings that went out. And I guess I'll just say it like this. Whoever had the meeting about Ethan, about his behavior, about the drawings, about him, they should be charged as well. Because when you send your child to school, they then are in the hands of another parent. Okay, and those people, they might as well have pulled the trigger with Ethan on their poor little students.
Yeah, four precious souls, and I saw their pictures.
And as a parent, if you had a meeting about this and you still let it go on,
I would have.
And you had warning signs.
What I would have done, I would have walked off my job, given it up to save a life if that's what it took. So that teacher, like you said, is responsible for those deaths, because if they saw something that they didn't do anything about and make provisions.
The teacher did their job.
Yes.
The teacher reported it to the principal.
Right.
And the principal dropped the ball. And then the superintendent dropped the ball also.
But I would have said, to protect myself, I would have said, you know what? I told you all, this is what I noticed, and this is what I saw.
But see, right. Yeah, and I like what you're saying, Mom, but this is my point is the superintendent and principal are at fault in this case, because the teacher did their job.
Yes,
they handed the pictures and stuff over and said, this kid needs some help. Get him out of here.
But if they couldn't get anywhere with that principal and the superintendent, this is where I would have said, okay, you all, I'm giving this up because you're not going along with me. It may not have happened had the teacher.
I don't think so, because
got the job back, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I don't see. But see, the principals and the superintendent are claiming that they're innocent in this, and they saw nothing wrong with the evidence that was displayed. And see, that's the disturbing part about it, right?
Right.
Like I said, it's not the teacher's fault. They did everything they could.
It was the teacher's fault.
Right, and the principal. What I think you meant to say is the principal and superintendent should have walked out. and quit their
Well,
jobs.
first of all, they did not see that any reason that she should be complaining to them, evidently, because they didn't do anything about that situation that she was telling them.
Right, but what I'm saying is, as a principal, after the incident happened, I would have resigned immediately.
Well, they should have
And,
fired.
and as a
Yeah.
superintendent, I would have
Been
resigned.
fired. They should have been fired.
Mhm.
But
A lot.
I think they would rather have the school system sued than them for be fired because they're trying to
Oh,
protect themselves. You see what I'm saying? Because the moment you go out, then people can sue your house and sue your stuff like that and come after you being negligent in your
Right.
duties.
Mm.
I mean, this is all speculation, folk. I mean, we're bringing up all the scenarios and a great point. Everyone has a great point here, and it brings up a lot of upsetness. And I can see my mom and dad and Hantie. I can see the upsetness that you all have is that there's 4 kids. There's I don't there's 4 kids that are dead today.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
the number 6.
say
Because
what?
There was another one after that.
That died. Okay.
Died.
yeah,
The news.
But still, there's too much access to guns in the United States.
well, and especially at the that's a problem too, and especially at the young age. And this kid shows signs of problems,
Mhm.
literal mental health problems. Teachers reported on those problems. His backpack was never checked.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm sure if this kid was of a different color, his backpack would have been checked. If they would have found a knife or a gun, he would have been expelled that day.
Mhm.
And said, parents, he's expelled, he's out of here. And I think that,
And the simple solution is that all schools should have metal detectors at the doors.
Mhm. But
Period.
right. But then what the theory is that they start looking like the hood schools.
Or you're protecting lives. You are protecting precious lives. Because, that's one thing a parent will never get over is the
Death of a
violent
child.
death of a
Loss
child.
of a child.
Mhm. And that's a great point, you all. And then you know what? I think we're going to end on that note. I hope it was a tough discussion, but I think it was a necessary discussion to bring out all points that everybody brought up today because they were all very valid points. And our hearts and prayers go to those families,
Yeah.
victims. Tears are coming; they just swell up in my eyes as I just think about that those parents cannot hug their kids anymore. It's all bad all the way around. It just hurts my heart. So we're gonna end it here, folks. But hopefully we'll have a better time next week on Mom and Dad Talk. And we love you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later on Mom and Dad Talks.